I'm gonna make like a bloopers video one day because I have like a couple things I've edited
Hours.
out that
I bet
I've
you have
kept.
some like stupid shit.
Well,
See, when I turn my head, I know. I'm gonna
I
do
have the video of when we were doing the Christmas episode, and you had to change your shirt because like you were wearing a work shirt.
Oh,
So I'm gonna edit the blur like the logo out or whatever, and then just make a
Just
video.
do it,
Because then we just had to start again. We just repeated the same thing the second time we started that episode. But yeah,
cool.
speaking of work, that's our main topic for today. We're gonna talk about jobs we've had, and if you have any terrible job stories, email us and I'll read them on the podcast. The email is in the Instagram. Yeah, follow us on Instagram too, you fuckers. Like, don't just view my shit. Go fucking follow me. Follow me on Twitter. I've got like 7 followers on Twitter. I also don't tweet.
I was gonna say
So-
I don't know when the last time I used Twitter was. So
Yeah. I had an account at one point that I was just asking Jeff Bezos for money every day.
well,
I would just tweet at him every day asking for money.
there's a chance. It's like one of those lottery things
Mm-hmm.
that like maybe it'll happen. Maybe.
I would have been satisfied with like $5 too. Like I don't know. I wasn't even that worried about how much money.
Just
it would
like
be.
throw me a bone. Anything.
Like just like I just wanted to see if it would work.
For real.
I actually ended up expanding it to other people too. I expanded to Elon and like all the really rich people I could think of, like Mark Cuban. He probably would have seen it and told me to go fuck myself though.
A lot of those people would have been like, "Fuck you, man."
Yeah, I feel like Elon's the only person in that group that might have just thought it was funny and just be like, here's $1 million.
Here, do something good with this.
See me on the news like 3 weeks later, just covered in cocaine.
Oh, no. Oh man, that's funny.
Oh, that's some good audio right there.
Oh, totally.
Oh yeah.
Nothing but
Me
the
and my
best.
vape lungs. I'm probably full of cellulose too. We ran out of masks at work, like the regular N95s we wear, and I was loading the machine with just like a head sock over my mouth.
I mean, that'll definitely filter some particulates or whatever,
Yeah.
but like,
But it doesn't like
Not gonna
get
do
in
the
like the
thing.
crevices right here, so like
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
feel cellulose getting into my
I feel
mouth.
you. That sucks. Yeah, that was today. That was today for work for me. Some guys at the end of the day they were sweeping up the job site, and it was just like dust everywhere. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's one of the like the worst parts. Like working like a blue collar job, the cleanup gets dusty as shit.
Yep, it gets bad, but the best part is the shower when you get home.
Yeah, that's the one thing is like sometimes we're doing something super dusty and like I'm just like I can feel all this going in my hair and it's raining today and it's cold and I'm not gonna wash my hair on that day because
Nah,
like it takes too
I
long to
get home
dry.
immediately and shower because I got this beard. I got lots of stuff. It's like
I'll rinse like my beard out real good and shampoo it every few days. I bought a beard shampoo at one point.
I have a couple beard shampoos. I generally just use whatever shampoo that I use regularly. Not that I have much hair. So I just shaved my head the other day. Like, zoop.
Yeah, I like my job though for the most part. It's backbreaking sometimes, but it's like I need that. I have so much trouble sleeping that I need a very physical job so I actually fucking sleep at night.
I feel that I definitely need to get I need to get my energy out, and that, I do a lot at work sometimes. I do a lot at work sometimes.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. There are days where I'm just like standing
Yo,
next to a
Dennis.
machine.
Pass me my yeah.
Yo, elf bar.
Oh yeah, let's address the address, right? Oh, thank you. What good service. Let's address the address. We're
Oh yeah,
we're not in a normal place.
Yeah, we're in Dennis's new house.
Got dope ass fucking posters and memorabilia. That's
Oh, yeah.
mine though. This is my guitar. That's not Dennis's guitar. I know. I need to get one and leave it here.
Dude, I still that guitar I bought from Facebook for $20. It's been in my trunk. Like I've practiced twice.
Come on, man. Wait, you mean you have it?
It's in my car right now.
All right, so you should get it. And after we record this, we're gonna do some music.
I have to leave right away.
Oh
after
yeah,
this.
you're leaving. I got you. But yeah. So we're in a different spot. And
Yeah.
it's pretty dope. It's cool.
Well,
They've got an awesome house. Congratulations, bro.
Yeah, this place is nice. Just gotta finish that bathroom upstairs.
Yeah. Yo, you talk about backbreaking. I
Oh, my
wasn't
God.
any part of this. I
Oh,
did
my
like
God.
cleanup, but my man demoed the whole bathroom.
So the day I came over here to work on that the first time when I was with Stern, I had hurt my back because I was helping Priscilla move that Sunday. Hurt my back doing that. Then just kept destroying my back all week at work, and then came here in horrible amounts of pain to do more back breaking work.
Okay, I feel bad. I was just like not around for some of that, and then I came in and helped clean up in the end. But you just said back like 18 times, and I just came back, and I just got off. Not even got off. Like I still have pain, but like
Oh yeah,
my back was out last week, and like it was just the worst thing in the world. I was like, oh no. I've never gone to the chiropractor in my life. It was the first time ever. It changed my life. My man saved my life.
Did he do like the cracking adjustments?
Yes. I walked in. I crawled in like the hunchback of freaking Notre Dame. I literally like hobbled my way in there, and I walked out upright.
Well, that's
like,
good.
20 minutes later, and then he did the whole thing. He did the whole 9. He fucking cracked my neck, my back. It was nuts. It was awesome.
Dude, I want to get that done. Because I'm always cracking my neck. I'm just like, it didn't crack that time.
Do it. I'd recommend it because like your insurance will cover it, and like sometimes it's a little bit more because they're considered a specialty or whatever. But go once just to try it, and and you'll walk out like, oh.
Dude, I want to go to Planet Fitness just because like Priscilla's got a membership there that we never go, and I want to go to just use the fucking massage things they have. They have these like. I don't know what they are, but they're like tables that you lay on that massage you.
Okay, cool.
Something like that. It's like a massage chair that you lay down on, I think. I don't know. I could be very wrong. I've never been
doing the work, and there's just something under you.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
I want to try that because I've been in horrible amounts of pain all week. Because like Monday, I was in an attic that was really tight and just like literally crawling through mounds of fiberglass insulation to try to put light covers over all the recessed lights because they're not IC rated, which means we can't let the cellulose touch them because they get way too hot. And then Tuesday, I was just carrying material up a big ass hill the entire day. And like I probably moved over 2,000 pounds worth of insulation. And then we get back to the house and we realize that there's 2 pallets of cellulose waiting for us to put away.
To deliver, to put, wow,
yeah.
Sucks.
So we moved around. Well, one of the pallets we fully moved twice because it was the pallet we loaded into the van and then loaded out of the van when we got to the job. Because our usual delivery driver was out sick. So the guy that runs the company was out making deliveries because he was like the only other available person who can drive trucks. So then our sales rep, who is actually like a fan of One Time Weekend and like is going to Peach.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. He knows Eddie.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Have he's been at any shows? Met him? No?
I don't know. He's got kids, so he said it's harder for him to get to shows these days. But
totally makes sense.
Oh, speaking of kids. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you.
Holy shit. That's fucking awesome.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a dad.
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
Fucking sick.
He announced it in the coolest way, too. He had one time announce it when they were playing opening for Pigeons at Brooklyn Bowl.
Yeah, it was really a spontaneous move, and that was all shout outs to Adeline. That was like her idea. In the truck on the way down, we were like next to each other, and she was like, you think we should just tell the people, like all our friends that are there tonight, like through the band if they'll do it? And I was like, yeah. And then messaged Ian. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, One Time Weekend. You guys are awesome. And they made the announcement, and yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna corrupt that child. I'm gonna
listen,
teach it terrible words.
Yeah, I know. I'm worried. I know the kid. I know this kid's gonna have an army behind it, but watch yourself. All right.
Its first words are gonna be like, "Fuck you."
No, it will.
Nah, it's gonna.
So disappointed in you.
It's gonna call you Cocksucker Blue.
Oh my God, Cocksucker Red. Shut up.
It's gonna think I'm Uncle Cocksucker.
Literally, that's. Oh my God. Yeah, that's kind of scary though. A little bit.
Yeah, we'll teach you good things too.
Oh, all the good stuff. I can't wait to teach this child music.
Music never settle for less than 4 for 20.
You're making me think all the things that I've never even thought about having a child. Like I'm in that like elated, like I can't stop thinking about the things that I want to do with this child once I have it. But you just put those like, oh man, there's so many like hard conversations and things.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Fuck you, bro.
I'm glad I got to stress you out today.
Yeah, right. During the thing that's supposed to be relaxing.
I'm relaxed as fuck. But anyway, back to the main topic that we always do this. We always stray so far from the topic we plan on discussing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So worst job you've ever had? What do you think?
So I default to when I was like a beach boy lifeguard. I was like in charge of a country club, Orienta Beach Club, and it was I did everything at that place.
That's
I
the worst.
Basically scrubbed the floors with toothpaste, sparkled everything, organized everything, and I was just like a kid. And it was terrible. It was it killed my drive to want to do more work in that field. But whatever, I was a first job, but that was that was probably, I'd say that was like my worst job was the beach boy. Like we'd have to go and rake seaweed. I raked seaweed for hours.
That's terrible.
There was once where my boss, we were raking it, putting it in trucks and putting it, just getting it off the beach, because there's a lot of seaweed.
Yeah.
And my boss reaches down, scoops up a pile, pricked with a hypodermic needle. Has a freaking conniption. Freaks out, within reason.
Holy shit.
Oh, she runs, she goes, and then that's when I was like, I'm not doing this with my hands ever. I was like, I need a pitchfork. I need way more tools so that I distance myself from whatever's in this shit.
Yeah,
because,
dude. You don't
it's seaweed, but that got to me.
Yeah, I would have quit if that happened to me.
Yo, well, I mean, she was actually in charge. She was she was whatchamacallit, aquatic director.
Aquatic director.
She was
that's fancy.
The whole fucking the beach, the pool, all that bullshit, and of course the beach. That's what it is.
Yeah, my worst job was probably the one I had before the one I have now. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna name the restaurant because I do love the place. I love a lot. Most of the people I worked with. There are a couple people, absolute pieces of shit. They know who they are. They won't hear this though. But anyone who worked at Pizza Cucina, oh fuck, I said the name. God damn it. Fuck it, I'll say the name. Pizza Cucina, great food. Like the food's great. I gained so much weight working there because they fed me so much. And I love the chefs. The kitchen staff is incredible. The guys who work in the pizza counter are awesome. Great boss. He get a little heated at times, but he was a good dude. Just good at running a business. But there are a couple other drivers I worked with that I fucking hated. And they know that I hated them because I made it very clear. I made it very clear to the people I didn't like that I didn't like them, and they deserved it. Because I was also the driver who would come in Monday through Thursday at opening, and then on Fridays I would come in a little bit later. But I was the one who I made all the drink orders. I set up all the organization things. I figured out the best ways to organize the upstairs room where we kept all the pizza boxes and made the boxes. I would go up there and I would make a shit ton of boxes. And then I would go down. Usually what I would do is I'd load the drink fridge, and I had a system. I set everything up. It was already pretty organized when I first started working there, but I just figured out some better ways to do things. So the things that sold the most would have extra spaces, so we could put a lot more of it in there. Mm-hmm. But people, there was one guy. He didn't speak much English, which was fine, but he also had really bad eyesight, so he was mixing shit up all the time. But he wouldn't wear his glasses a lot at work, and we'd be like, bro, you can't see, and I don't know if you can read
to wear these. Yo, that's hilarious.
And then there were other guys who were just lazy and saw that I did everything all the time, so they thought I was the only one who was supposed to do that stuff. I'm no, I'm just the only one who does.
Right. You do what needs to be done.
But I mean, I made a lot of money working there. I spent it all pretty much.
I made a lot of money in that country club. I went through the beach boy for 2 years, and then I was lifeguard for a long time. Then I was head lifeguard. I was just thinking, I remember this one time, I was kayaking, and as a lifeguard, just sitting in the kayak for the position or whatever. And one of the members thought it would be funny to jump off the dock and kick my kayak. And they did, but they straight up landed on my kayak and turned me over and then fell, and they actually cut their foot on the dock. So now he's bleeding. I'm out of the kayak, and I was like, Come on, man. And this isn't like a kid. This is an adult. This is like a
That makes
fucking
it so much worse.
40, 50-year-old man that like he was like, haha, I'm gonna kick the lifeguard. And he did. But what was funny is like I think I was like 18. No, I was like 19 or 20 at the time. And this guy was from Texas and his favorite beer was Shiner Bock. And I'd never had it before. The next day he brought me a 24 case of Shiner Bock and like brought it into the lifeguard shack. Like we are like 15 years old to like some of us are 21, but I was 20. Like gives me beer and I'm just like, okay, my boss was there. It was the funniest thing in the world. It was just like my boss yelled at me. I was like, what am I like? A member just gave me beer. Like, what am I supposed to do? Fucking like turn it down?
Yeah, you never turn down free stuff.
Yeah. So.
Well, depending on what it is.
That's true.
If it's good stuff,
it could be good stuff.
Yeah, I never did lifeguarding, but I did hang out at the waterfront a lot when I worked at the Boy Scout camp. Because
where it's at.
Because I worked at Buckskin.
Yeah.
And
is the Buckskin and the Reed waterfront the same?
Well, Wabika has a
like
bigger
Wabika,
lake.
Sorry,
yeah,
I said Reed, but
Wabika has a
Wabika
has a bigger lake, and I think it's cleaner. But Buckskin had like two separate sections too. Like you couldn't really get to the boating area from the swimming area.
Okay.
So I worked 2 years at Buckskin. I did the rank advancement place the first year I worked there, and I honestly wasn't good at that. That was not a good position for me. But my second year working there, I worked as an archery instructor, and that was so much fun. I actually liked that part a lot because I got like during any downtime, I just got to fucking shoot at all the targets. Like I love archery, so like. And by the end of the summer,
I shot a gun was at Wabika.
Really?
Yeah,
same.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
so cool.
That was another good thing about working at the archery range is that like the ranges are like next to each other, and at Buckskin like you don't have to cross the road to get from archery to rifle shooting. It's like literally 20 feet to the left. So when we were setting up camp, like we finished everything we had to do super early, and the old guy who ran the rifle range, this old guy Dave. He was just like, well, like, let's just shoot. And then like we hear like the camp director, he's like, why are their rifles being shot right now? And he's just like, oh, we're just making sure they all work. Meanwhile, we
just testing the rounds.
One day we just took this old target that we were getting rid of. We were getting new targets in like a week. So we just took the oldest target that was like destroyed and put it in the middle of the range and had like a staff member at each like post and shot all of the arrows we had at the archery range into it, and it was so much fun.
That's cool. Well, I just gotta throw a disclaimer. I never actually went to the camps. I just had a lot of friends that worked at the camps. So yeah, like the first time I shot was at Wabika. It was really cool. I always wish I was more involved like in that scene. I never.
Were you in scouts at all?
I never did scouts. That's why I just wasn't in the.
Honestly, like it was a lot of fun. Like we did a lot of cool shit. Like that Philmont trek that I did. The backpacking through the mountains of New Mexico.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that I'm going to talk more about on another episode because I have so many things to talk about from that like I want to save it.
Yeah, totally.
It would be I gotta have another scout on one day.
Hell yeah,
I don't really know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that many that like would also be like kind of in this scene. I do have one friend. I gotta see if maybe he'd want to be on one day. But I don't know. But yeah, working there was a lot of fun because, like, like I just lived in the woods for a summer. Like, I mean, I did not get paid well.
Yeah, well, I know that was one of the reasons I never.
Yeah.
After when I was a lifeguard and a little bit after, and like I had a friend that was like, "Come work the waterfront," and I was just like, "I can get a lot more at like the country club," Yeah. And so it was just like I went where the money was.
I did a little bit of work at a country club in Armonk, the Windmill Club.
Oh yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Because I had a buddy who worked there, and then they needed like a little bit of maintenance done, so I like had to like rebuild a door frame, like because like the door jammed because like someone had kicked open one of their sheds in the middle of the night, so I had to like completely rebuild and like drill out the holes for the locks and everything, and like put a deadbolt on it and stuff, and then I had to replace some spindles on the railing, on like the upper deck. And because it's Armonk and like you can only be a member of this club if you live in that neighborhood. Oh, the screen went black. Almost accidentally stopped recording video there. But and like the houses in that neighborhood were crazy expensive. So the people there were like a little Karen-y. And this lady who I guess was like in charge of things fucking comes over, and I'm just, fucking drilling in a piece of wood. And she's like, that's not the same color. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm just replacing the wood. I'm going to paint it tomorrow when I come back. And she's like, yeah, but it's not the same color as the rest of them. These are all white, and that's just like wood colored. I was like, yeah, but because that's how wood comes. Like, you don't buy painted lumber. Like, you buy lumber and then you paint it. Like, do you think this just came painted?
That's amazing.
Like, and she started getting an attitude with me. She's like, yeah, who even like told you to be doing this? And I was like, the guy who runs this place. Like, I looked at him and he was just like, hey, leave him alone. I was like, thank you.
Jeez.
That guy was actually a big fish fan. He was telling me that he, when he was in college, they would come through to the town he was in, and he'd like one day like had like a big bag of weed with him. And I probably shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about one of my bosses. All right. Check this out. Like I said, lifeguarding, 17 years old, on the pier position, because like the place I had a pier and a dock at the end of it. And this old guy used to come and sleep on the dock. He was the aquatics director. Okay? He would come with a sandwich and a chair. He would eat his sandwich. He would lay back like this, have a sandwich on his freaking stomach, He'd eat his sandwich, like the paper plate would be like fluttering in the wind, and he would fall asleep. He got fired. Like he got fired like within weeks because he like didn't know what he was doing, and when he wanted to, he just went out to the pier and slept. It was the funniest thing in the world. It was absolutely the greatest thing.
Dude, I had a kid fall asleep like while working the belt at UPS one time. Because I also worked at UPS at one point, loading the trucks. And this kid, like, it got slow for a minute. I see this kid sit down and put his head down. And he's like across the belt and like up a little bit. I worked the last like 3 to 4 cars. And I'm like sitting there, and then I'm starting to notice like my buddy who worked across from me needed to go out for a smoke break. So I ran over and was just like, pushing his stuff off to the side a little bit for him. And then I'm seeing some stuff that's for this kid and then I look over and he's just still sitting there. And I take one of the softer packages and I whipped it at his fucking head. And he's like, what? Did you just fucking throw a package at me? I was like, are you fucking sleeping, dog? Like, I know it's 5 o'clock in the morning and we've been here since midnight, but like, you can't fall asleep here, dude. Like, we got shit to do.
That's funny.
I was also on like borderline dangerous amounts of Adderall and caffeine to do that job.
So you were just up. Yeah, you were just
dude,
going.
I used to wear shorts in November working there, and there's no heat in that warehouse. I would just wear shorts and a t-shirt and be sweating, and it would be like 35 degrees outside. Everybody else is in like sweats and sweatshirts and shit. I remember one day my pupils were huge. I was dripping sweat, and it's like 25 degrees outside. And like the big fucking garage doors are open because we have trucks out there for peak season. And my supervisor, she comes over, she's like, hey, are you okay? And I was just like, yeah, I'm good.
I'm fine.
I was like, I feel fucking incredible right now, honestly. And she's just like, you're sweating. Like, you're soaking wet. And I was just like, yeah. She's like, you doing okay? And I was just like, yeah, just, extra Red Bull, extra Adderall. Let's fucking get it.
She's like, okay.
She's like, all right, dude, I used to get a 32-ounce iced coffee.
Oh, God.
And I would crush up an Adderall and put it in the coffee. And I would sniff Adderall when I woke up. There was one point where I was taking Adderall and Klonopin at the same time so that I could be up enough to do the job, but relax enough to not care about how much I hated it. It was dangerous, but it worked.
Here and I hate it, but I'm masking it.
Yeah. I was taking a lot of bad things at the time. I was really fucking up and going down a bad road, and then I heard Lost in the Cold for the first time. This is gonna make me sound like such a pussy. And for people who don't like Twiddle, they're gonna hate this. But I heard Lost in the Cold for the first time ever on my way home from UPS one day when I was just like, I only remember being at work for the past week, and I've done other things. And I was like, that's not a good sign.
For real.
And jeez. I heard that song and I had to pull over because I broke down sobbing. And I was like, I need to stop. I'm doing it again. I'm fucking everything up. But I stopped.
I was gonna say you had the sense to catch yourself, so it works, man.
Yeah, that was an interesting job, though. I mean, I got jacked working there.
I bet.
And then I quit that because I had no life because I was working nights. I quit that and quit school, and then started working at Domino's so I could afford to still live in the frat house. And then I started gaining weight.
That's when
yeah, that's when everything went downhill because I was.
If you work at a Domino's, I feel like that's like the equation there.
That was probably the most fun job I've ever had, though. That Domino's in Delaware, all I did was get high. I was smoking like an eighth a day and spending most of my day at work.
Just like chilling, slanging pizzas.
Yeah, because I was delivering, so like I could leave and smoke. Like I was chain smoking cigarettes with food in my car too. Like if you got Domino's delivered by me in Delaware in like the spring of 2018, I smoked cigarettes with your food in my car. A lot of cigarettes. Like there would be days where I'd smoke 2 cigarettes on the way to an order. Like I was
because chain smoking.
I was legit chain smoking, and almost everyone who worked at that Domino's smoked cigarettes. So if it got really, really slow, we'd all just go out back and just fucking smoke like 2 or 3.
Just chief them.
I was smoking almost a pack a day at that point because I was paying $6 a pack. I would go to there was a gas station that had a deli. The only place in the whole state of Delaware where you can get an actual New York style bacon, egg, and cheese, like the real ones. Because a bunch of Middle Eastern dudes from Brooklyn moved to Delaware because it's cheap as fuck to run a business there.
And they're making banging bacon, egg, and cheese.
It's the only place you can get a good bacon, egg, and cheese.
That sounds good.
It was a BP on South College. I'll never forget that place as long as I live.
I know exactly where it is.
I could get there from here, no problem. I could, like, without a GPS, like, barely paying attention, I could make it from Dennis's to that BP. I mean, it would take me 3.5 hours, but I could do it, no problem. Because I used to go there every morning, pack of cigarettes, a Red Bull, and a bacon, egg, and cheese. I'd spend, like, $10. It was fucking awesome.
That's a wild amount of stuff for that little amount of money.
Yeah. Because they actually asked me if I was from New York. Because I told them, I was like, you're the only place I can get like an actual, like the real bacon, egg, and cheese around here. And they're like, you're from New York, aren't you? I was like, yeah, Westchester. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, all the kids, like the only people who get food here are kids from like Long Island, New York City, or Westchester. And I was just amazing. Like, really? He was like, yeah, because we're from Brooklyn. Like we know how to make the sandwiches.
What they're doing. That's great. That's awesome.
What else? What other jobs have I had?
Well, I obviously I was a lifeguard, and then I was a swim coach too. So that was like one of the most fun things ever because like effectively like all I'm doing is saying go on intervals. Think about swimming. You can't talk to the person in the pool. Like you're doing sets on timed intervals. So I'm just standing there looking at a clock, waiting for the kids to come back in, so they can get like a small amount of break and then saying go. And it was a lot of fun though. Like, you know, when we set up, like, you know, all the starting blocks had cones on them, and me and like my boss would literally be like, all right, let's grab some kickboards and try to take those cones off. And we'd literally like fling the kickboards the 25 yards across the pool to knock the cones off just because why not?
Yeah.
You know? It was awesome.
You were a teacher at one point, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a teacher for 5 years. Yeah, that's
crazy.
It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I still tutor too. So hit me up if you ever need physics, math, science tutoring, because I still do that a lot. But yeah, I was a teacher for 5 years, and
that's wild.
It was a lot of fun. Kids are cool until they suck, and then you know you got to deal with them. But like
some kids suck.
Some of them are really cool though. Like
I was one of the kids that sucked when I was in high school.
No, I was good. That's why, you know, that's why I became a teacher.
I actually thought about being a gym teacher at one point when I was just like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? And I was like, summer's off, like, sounds pretty good. Like, not working weekends. Like, but then I was just like, I have to, like, look respectable. I would be such an asshole. Like, that's why I wasn't good when I was younger and I worked at camp. Like, when I was first year as a staff member and the years of CIT, like, I didn't know how to deal with, like, kids like that. And I was just, like, would get in trouble sometimes for being kind of rude. Because, like, if someone pisses me off, like, if someone's an asshole to me, I'm going to be more of an asshole back. Like, I'm not good at just walking away.
See, like, I learned to deal with, like, lots of young... Like, I taught, like, little babies how to swim, bro. I taught
That's true. Yeah.
what was cool was like a couple years ago, I'm like scrolling Facebook and like my swim program posts that like this kid is #1 in the country. I can't remember what the event was, but it was one of the kids that like he was like 2. And I taught him how to swim. Like I taught him the fundamentals of swimming. I coached him until he was like 7 or 8. Like I was there for a long time.
Oh wow.
I was a coach for like 10 or 12 years or something for the same place. And so like I like it's just wild to me that like, you know, like 10 years later he's like 17, 18 years old and like he's like #1 in the country.
That's awesome.
Holy crap. Like that's dope.
Like, you contributed to that.
A little bit.
That's awesome.
Fundamentals, right?
So one of my friends is a soccer coach for like he does like coaching for like little kids, and he loves it. He said it's so much fun because they're just like they're just having so much fun the whole time.
Yeah, and then there's a drive to want to be better, which is what's cool about like coaching kids. Like they really want to push themselves. And,
yeah. See, that was a problem with me. Like when I was
cool.
getting coached about certain things, like most of the things like sports I played, I was just like, I'm not really here to be good. Like I'm just here to like because I know people else who are also doing this. Like when I played lacrosse, I was terrible.
You were there.
I played attack for 3 seasons, never once scored.
Dude, that's crazy.
I almost caused a brawl though.
I was gonna say, I mean, like, how could you have not caused a brawl? Like, the statistic in my mind is that like there were 2 or 3, so you only almost caused 1.
Yeah, I tried to cause problems on the field. When I realized in 8th grade that I was like, I've played attack for 3 years. I've never scored. I've got like a month and a half left playing lacrosse.
Oh my God, did you just get aggressive?
I just started being a dick. Like I was blatantly fucking doing penalties like in front of the refs. I wanted to see how many penalties I could rack up. Like I remember I cross-checked this kid like for no reason.
There's just one ref whose job is just to look at it, just to watch every one of his.
But I remember we were playing against Mayapack. And we were playing at North Salem, and we were smoking them. It was like 13-2. Like our coaches told us, like, take it easy. Like you're being mean at this point. And there was this kid who was playing defense, and like size comparison, like as if it was me and you now. Like that's how much bigger he was than me. Like I was tiny, and he'd been kind of pissing me off all game. And I get the ball, and behind the goal, I see this kid running at me. I was like, I'm about to die. So I throw the ball to another kid. There's a struggle for the ball. There's kind of like a pile of people are elbowing each other. And I was like, yo, I'm about to just dive on top of this shit. And I start getting ready to start running, and the kid sees me, and he just swings his D pole back and smacks me in the fucking head with it. And I was like, really? Oh, it's going down. I was like, I don't care what happens to me right now. I'm starting some shit. And I take my stick and fucking like tennis serve right into his back under his pads. And he turns around and like, I just dropped my stick. I was like, I'm going out like a fucking champ. Let's go. And this kid is about to fucking swallow me whole. And the 2 biggest kids from my team come sprinting over. They're all the way on defense on the other side of the field. See that I'm about to get murdered and come running over. And there's like, people are like getting ready to fight. Like everybody's dropping their sticks. Like people are ready. And the refs are like, game's over. That's it. It's done. Yeah. And it was, I was so excited though. I was like, I'm going to get my ass kicked, but I'm causing some problems.
That's funny. That just made me think of in high school, we were swimming Mount Vernon, and they had just formed their team. How many people were on the team?
I'm gonna say like 6.
There was 5. I think there was 4 or 5 people. 4 or 5 people on the team. Now Neuro has a huge pool. They have 8 blocks.
Yeah.
So literally, like, every race they had to get up. So like they finished the race, turn around, get back on the blocks. It was grueling. Like there was no other people.
Those
on their
poor
team.
bastards.
Yeah. So my coach was just like, "This is bad." So like, he started he was like, "All right, let's just do 6. Let's do 3, so that's easier." And then like certain events, I'll never forget this. Freestyle. Like
yeah,
that's not actually what it's called. It's called front crawl. Freestyle is actually just whatever you want it to be.
Oh really?
Yeah. Like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's certain strokes that you can do for free that like work. So butterfly is one of those. You know, the 20 lap race, the 500 yard. He told the best kid on our team who was going to states, he was going to go to a Division I college and swim. Like he was a swimmer. He's like, all right, I want you to do the 500 butterfly, which is just like
that sounds brutal.
A lot, okay?
Because
like,
butterfly is like uses everything
It's
all at once.
everything. It's a very, very,
It's very explosive.
strenuous- Yeah, it's a lot. So, like, you know, he's like, I want you to do 500 flying, like the rest of you, like, you know, do whatever you want. You know, like just take your time, have fun with this, because like these guys, like they had 3 guys who like never really swam before, and they're doing a 20-lap race.
Yeah, dude, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I used to run cross country,
Really?
which is surprising. I ran cross country and track for like most of like middle school and high
I
school.
always wanted to get in that. My brother did shot put and hammer.
We didn't. I don't think we had either of those on our team. 'Cause North Salem. We didn't have a football team at our school.
That sucks.
My graduating class was 98 people.
My graduating class was 782.
Oh my god!
There's so many. My school is in 2 different zip codes. Literally, New Rochelle has 2 different zip codes. New Rochelle High School partially is in 10804 and 10801.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's huge. It looks like a college campus. People drive by and they're like, "Oh, what college is that?" I'm like, that is the local public high school."
We were down like near New Road not too long ago. We were working this job in Mount Vernon, and we would have to cut through New Road to get there.
Mhm.
And then we got like trapped in Mount Vernon trying to leave.
That sounds scary.
Because the roads that we knew how to get back from ended up being closed for road work later in the day. And like me and my boss were just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, are we just like trapped in Mount Vernon? Like we live here now.
Through the whole Vern to get
And
home.
like, oh my God, there was this building we saw that were like the roof had completely collapsed. Like this building had trees growing inside of it. And we were like, how fucking long has this been abandoned? And then we made it into Yonkers. And then I made the mistake of making eye contact with a junkie on the corner. And then he started screaming at us about Jesus. And I was just like, oh no, I don't want to be here. Please, light, just turn green. Just turn green before this guy comes over here. I've made that mistake too many times in my life where I'm just like looking around to make eye contact with the wrong person and then get screamed at, like just nonsense for 20 minutes. Oh God.
A couple weeks ago, I'm at work. So I was a lifeguard, swim instructor, teacher. Now I install speakers and like do sound, anything sound. And I was in the attic of a house, and we were like surveying where we can put. It's not just sound. I also do internet and stuff. So we're surveying where to put.
Did that house need insulation in the attic?
No, it didn't. It had insulation, but what it didn't have in parts of it was plywood over the support, like over the, you know.
Walking on those joists gets rough.
So I'm kind of dancing on the joists, and what happens? I lost my foot. I went through the ceiling of this client's house. I came like literally in one of the bedrooms, just boom. Now they just moved in, and that room wasn't occupied.
Well, that's always
so
better.
It was fine, but like it was
It's embarrassing.
It was a big oops. Oh, it hurt. I didn't like fall through the floor. Like my leg went in and I caught myself.
Yeah.
But like the hole was the size of me. And I am not small. Okay. Like, so that was one of those like, holy shit. Like I could have really hurt myself. But you know,
I did that once. I worked for a contractor for a few summers when I was like end of high school and like a little bit afterwards. And it was my first like month working for this guy. The guy whose house we're working on is also one of our coworkers. So we were putting a second floor and then a walk-in attic. So we're laying down the subfloor for the second story. And so we're balancing on the joist while we put down the plywood, and my leg slips off the joist and I put my leg into his kitchen. And
it's almost inevitable when you're working that long in an attic, like, you know, when you're doing it for so long, like you're going to get a point where like you accidentally do something like that. It sucks.
The best part about all this though is like this guy's son, who was like, I think 11 at the time. He comes out and like a few minutes later, he's like, "Dad, there's a hole in the ceiling." And this guy's like, "Yeah, no shit."
Of course there is. And then, that's like when you get one though. Like that's it. Like, you do that once and then that's it. Like you never do that again.
Working for that contractor, like I only fucked up that badly once.
Yeah, that was like my biggest. That was definitely my biggest. That was the. I may have made like small mistakes, like, you know, maybe wiring a freaking light switch wrong or just like something, and like have to fix it. But like that was a big boo boo, man. Like,
that's the rough one.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time in attics now because I insulate houses now, for those who don't know, and we do cellulose, so we do a lot of just like, it's this dust that we blow all over the attic. And
fuck you, Boot. Because I have to deal with that.
do you deal with a lot of cellulose?
Well, I deal with a lot of insulation, and I'm not sure what like you don't do not the spray foam, right?
No.
So I'm
Spray
not sure
foam's
what the
honestly
cellulose
like
is,
not that good.
This guy's house that we're working on is it's made of concrete, and it's styrofoam about 6 inches off of the concrete.
Like foam board?
Styrofoam.
Like it's just regular, like what you would
styrofoam.
fucking, like when you get a bong delivered,
like
it comes in styrofoam.
And in this like the supports in the styrofoam, because obviously it's not just styrofoam, are these like little they're like plastic. I don't know, like just like kind of like a freaking whatchamacallit.
And that's what they're using as insulation.
And that's what and then they foam obviously the top where there was wood and stuff. But yeah, that is the insulation.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I don't know, bro. It is wildly insulated. It's absurd.
I mean, I'm guessing it's nicely air sealed, which is the main issue. That's like the biggest thing with insulation is like the airflow gets in, because like that's why fiberglass honestly isn't great for in an attic, because it just fills in the gaps between the joists. So if anything happens to that piece of fiberglass, if it's like the joists aren't 16 on center, then like you're getting air like being able to go through. And like a lot of like most attics we go in, like honestly, if you're renovating a house, don't let your regular like just average general contractor insulate your house. Hire someone separately. Because a lot of contractors won't air seal, and they'll just put in fiberglass like poorly. Sometimes like some of the houses we work in, like it's just been done so badly that like we end up like, even if we're not doing a removal, like we'll have to like fully replace certain spots because it's just like this is just so bad. But we've done some really rough ones where like the huge attics. Like we did one recently that I posted a reel about it. It took multiple trips to the dump, and like I think we used almost 5 pallets of cellulose on it.
Now, people don't steal shit in your industry, though, huh? Like, you know how, like, you work on working on a job site, somebody might steal a driller or, like, a drill bit?
Well, the thing is, like, we're usually the only people at a job site.
Yeah, nah, dude.
Which is nice.
Today, somebody stole something from us. Literally today. We get to work. We're doing this. It's like 2:30. We bought the drill bit yesterday. It's like a specific, like, step-down drill bit to, like, a 1/2 inch. And we had it in a box, like with all of our wire, and we come in, and of course all of our wire is moved, and it's not just like some wire. It's like fucking 15 boxes and like 6 spools. Like it's like a bunch of wire, and it's been moved twice already, not by us. And we're like, all right, whatever, it's got to be moved. But at like 2:00, because we're doing everything we need to do, like we're fine. We don't need that piece at all. We haven't thought about it. We go through the box to get it at like 2:30, and we're at just like a pause. Like there's nothing else we can do. We need this to do anything for the rest of the day, basically. It's gone. It was still in the plastic.
Oh,
like
wow.
Somebody
That's
saw
real
it.
shitty.
Somebody saw it and jacked it. We ended up asking one of the electricians, and like he gave us a better tool, which I like took a picture of, and we're gonna order because it's like
that's
way
always
better.
great.
Yeah, so that's convenient. A little bit of a take it one step forward.
It's always nice finding a new thing that is gonna be like, oh, that's gonna make my life way easier.
Yeah.
I've had that happen. Like, so I was actually we were doing a removal one day in an attic, and you know those little things where it's like adds length to the drill bit. Like you put the actual like little screw head like the Phillips head part like in the end of it, and then it's got a sleeve that comes over it.
Yep.
I found one of those in an attic like under the fiberglass, and I was just like, yo, I'm constantly slipping off the screws when we're building the platforms we build, and I get so frustrated because I'm just punching wood all day. And I don't want to be doing that. My knuckles, like my hands are always so beat up from work. So like I found that, I started using it a lot, and then I lost it.
I don't know what the fuck. Just get another one. They're not that
I
expensive.
know. We're at Home Depot like almost every week.
Yeah, we are.
I always forget. But dude, oh my god, I was getting so frustrated with Home Depot.
Home Depot sucks. I bought zip ties from Home Depot. Literally the first one I take out of the fucking bag, it just breaks. The rest of the bag, it was a 50-50 shot. I just threw it. I threw it away. I was like, fuck that. And then I went, bought better zip ties.
So we get the OSB plywood. It's 4 foot by 8 feet.
Yeah.
And we have it cut down the middle, so it's 2 foot by 8 foot.
Okay.
Because we got to get it into attics and stuff. So we load it onto a cart, and we'll bring it over to the saw, and then we have to wait for someone to cut it.
Yeah.
So we load up a bunch of it one day. We wheel it over to the saw. Saw is out of order. That was like probably like a month ago. The last 2 times we've checked out Home Depot and the Brewster one, still out of order. There was one day where me and this guy I was working with, he left because he got a job like in his for his degree, and he so like we would usually go to Home Depot together, and we're looking for the guy who usually cuts our wood for us. He's like slightly older, like Eastern European guy. He always sees us and goes, "Oh, great, you guys again," because like we're like one of the few people that really need like a whole bunch of shit cut all at once, and like we always mess around with him. He's not there. We can't find him. We see this like little old lady. She's like 60 something, tiny lady, and we're like, "Hey, we're looking for someone to cut this for us, like right down the middle." And she's like, "Okay, I'll do it." And we're like, "What? Like we don't feel right making you do this. Like you're tiny and you're old.
Can we operate the saw for you?"
And then this fucking jacked dude who's like probably like 32 is just watching her use no gloves and fucking rip this shit in half for us. Yeah. And like now every time I see that guy, I'm just like, this piece of shit let that little old lady do all that work and like, just fucking stood there not using those fucking muscles he has.
That's so stupid.
And then he swept up after it. And I was just...
he's not authorized to use the saw.
He should be. He's fucking jacked. If that guy sees this, you know who you are. Probably. Fuck you. Like, you're an asshole. There was one guy at Home Depot one day. It might have been the same day, actually. We couldn't find anyone to cut it for us. It was like, we were waiting like 25 minutes. And which is fine. We get paid hourly. I don't care. For 22 an hour, I'll fucking just lay on the floor of Home Depot.
Chill.
But I see this guy walk past, and I was like, "Hey, man, we're looking for someone to cut this." And he just goes, I was like, "Bro, you almost lost your finger. Fucking wag your finger in my face like I'm a child."
No, but you better watch out because I know there's a Home Depot. I can't remember where it is around here, where one of the guys is deaf. What if my man was deaf?
No, I've seen him work the cash register.
Okay.
He's talking and shit.
All right. Because there's one guy where I just straight up walked up to him, and I asked him where something was, and he was just like, and then he like pulled up his phone and then showed me the freaking thing. And
yeah.
Like, oh, cool.
See, like if you're deaf, you usually let people know. You don't just be like, and walk away.
Like, he just walked away.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, I just assumed
he didn't.
was like...
He didn't stop walking. He pointed at himself and went, and kept walking like the whole time while walking.
He was like, "Me."
Yeah, exactly.
See ya.
And I was just like, that was one of the angriest I've ever been in my life. I was just like, I almost bit that guy's fucking finger off. Who does that to what kind of grown man does that to another grown man?
I'm gonna sick the Wook boot on him, just like bite his fucking finger off. And that's how you got arrested. How did you get arrested? Listen, don't wag that fucking finger in front of me. That's fine.
I have been arrested, and it did have a problem with my finger. I woke up in jail with a broken finger.
That sucks.
That's another story for another podcast. I would have told that on... I don't think I've told that on an episode yet. It's an interesting night. Well, from what I've been told about it.
From what you recollect.
No, there's nothing I recollect. What else? I've been a painter too. I painted houses for a summer. I liked doing that a lot, but the guy I worked for had a huge problem with me, and we don't know why. He was real mean to me the entire summer. I was just, and then he got threatened to fire me for asking for days off. I'm like, bro, you're the boss. You're allowed to tell me I can't take that day off, and I will come into work. Like, I was like, I'm 19. Like, I want to drink during the day, like on a Wednesday. Like,
chill.
Like, I want to get really high and lay by a pool. Like, I just got kicked out of college. Like, let me relax.
Chill. I need that chill. I need that downtime.
I like doing that a lot though. Like, I love painting. Like, I had painted my cousin's kitchen for her, like just over a year ago, and like it's some of the most satisfying work because like I like being able to see my progress as I'm going. Mm-hmm. Like you can see exactly how much you have left.
Yeah,
that's one thing I hate about like the food industry, because you're just like, I don't know when this ends, and I want to die. Like,
these like with the construction and stuff, you know that there's an end to that. Like,
yeah,
you're going to a job, you know what the job is. You freaking.
Yeah, like you know what you have to do. That's what like I hate those kinds of jobs where you're like, I might have to do this today, or I might have to do this today. Like,
well, that was a lot of where like my current job that I'm actually leaving. I just got a new job, which I'm really excited about. But the current job, it's a lot of service calls and a lot of different, like a lot of audibles. So I'd wake up and not know where I was going. Or, like, it would change. It would change day to day sometimes. So it was a little bit more difficult to like grasp.
Yeah.
You know? And then I craved a little bit more of the stability. But like that's part of the industry. Like it's literally like construction. Like
Yeah.
there is no stability. Like
Yeah,
some of the jobs are like freaking 5 years to build a house.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
Oh,
Like,
dude, when I was working for the contractor, there was this one house we worked on for so long. Like every time I would because I would work for him like either during the summer or just like if I was home for a week from Delaware. Like, so like, I was working for him a lot anytime I came back. And I did my senior year of high school internship with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Paid me a little bit on the side too, which was nice.
Yeah.
And but he like one of the first times I was interning with him, we were working at this house in Mamaroneck, and like 2 years later, like we were still working. Like from probably 3 years later, we were still working on that same house.
I have a job site that in Rye that I've been with the company for 2 years now, like 2 years and like a month, and it's been a client of ours since the construction had been going on 2 years before I got hired.
Oh my God.
It took 4 years to build this house.
So some of those kinds of people like just keep finding things they want to
change.
change.
It's the designer because they hire some designer. So it's like they freaking come in and they say, I want it to look like this. And then it starts, and then the contractor's like, well, I can do this. Like, I know you want it to look like this, but like, this is how it has to be, kind of, you know, like within reason. Like, like within reason, but like, you know, it's crazy.
I remember that house I was telling, like the never ending project house. The guy, he one day woke up and looked at his kitchen and was like, I don't want this kitchen anymore.
Yeah.
Emptied out all the cabinets and just took a sledgehammer to the kitchen.
That's wild.
Yeah, just like out of nowhere. Like we came in and like we had to like fix ceiling joists because he broke fucking joists, and we were like you can't do this again. Like this, like if you're gonna like demo shit, like
your house is gonna.
You got to be more careful than this.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And a lot of it was plaster because this house was built in the 1920s, so it was all plaster. And I was demoing this wall one day. It was the wall that like the chimney was in. And it was this old stone chimney. And so then, like, I tear down the wall. I call my boss in. I was like, all right, like, I got all this done. Like, am I doing any of these other walls? And he was like, okay, no, we need to frame this out and, like, replace it fast. Because he's going to see the stone and then want the shower to be part of, like, want the stone to be in the shower. And it's going to cost him more money. And we keep trying to help him not keep spending all this money. Because he paid like a few million for the house and then was spending like another $1 million in renovations.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Because he was getting every single part of the house worked on all at once. And so we're like frantically trying to get this wall framed out. And then he comes in and he goes, oh, and we're like, oh, fuck.
Yep, you knew it. There it is.
I think on that company's website is a picture of that shower.
Oh, really? That's cool. In the end, it came out to like a really cool, you know.
Yeah, it ended up looking great. Like my dad worked for the guy one day and they were there and he went and checked on that because he knew I'd be curious and it came out great. It looked really good.
So like I was thinking about it with the construction and the way I do it. It's like for audio and like visual and like all that stuff, we're like the first people in and the last people out. Like I see jobs start to finish.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Cause like I have to put the wire down and then they, you know, bury the wire with the walls and then they poke it through and then I have to install the TVs and then the speakers and then they mud around everything and sometimes they're invisible speakers so they have to go up before the freaking drywall. So like
flush with the ceiling and everything.
Yeah. And like you don't know they're there or anything and it's really cool. But because of that, like we're there for every freaking step. And in the end, I teach the person whose house it is how to use their house.
Oh
Literally at the end, like so I'm there in the beginning when it's just the foundation and then I watch everything happen. Obviously I'm not there every day. Like I come, I do a butt ton of work for a week, leave for like a bunch of weeks and I come back and there's a house. Like sometimes, like there was one time where I left for like, you know, the job didn't need us for like 2 or 3 weeks and we came back and like all of us were like, how how? This was just all like no, and they
Dude,
they built the house.
I worked on a house. You mentioned foundations. I forgot about this. So when I worked for that contractor, when I was home from Delaware for my Christmas break, my freshman year, I was working for him because I was just like, I'm going to be home for like 2 months. I might as well work. Like, I don't have any fucking money. We were putting in a foundation on a house that didn't really have much of one. And it was on a lake. And it was a really old house. So we had like smaller than this, or your house, like small. And we had the entire house up on jacks.
Really?
And we were underneath that.
That's crazy.
And I was like, this is
terrifying. I've seen that before. Our buddy Tommy Albon, when he bought his house, like it was.
I know that name.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like sunken, and like he wasn't supposed to, but like he fucking just jacked that shit up. Like, like he was like, I don't give a fuck, and like I'm pretty sure the town came and like he ended up doing it right, but like just to get his shit level, like I was like, whoa, that's nuts.
I didn't know you could do that, and then I'm just crawling around, and dude, it was because it was winter, but they had those like big like propane heaters down there. So like it's just blasting heat everywhere, and I'd end up having to like be in like a t-shirt, and then I'd get out and immediately have to put my jacket on.
Oh my god!
Because like that house was so shitty. Like we opened up a wall that was like in the middle of the house, and like was supposed to be a load bearing wall. It was barely framed out. Like like the joists were not like the studs were not 16 on center. They were like 32 on center. And we were like, how the fuck is this thing standing?
Just going.
Like, this house should be collapsed. Like,
jeez.
But
you find beer cans and shit in the wall.
Oh, dude, I found a bunch of.
Time.
I found some old beer cans too from back when they like didn't have like the actual when you had to use an opener to press the thing open. Yep. And then I found some like an old Bud Light bottle back when Bud Light and Budweiser looked almost exactly the same. Yeah. And so I found stuff like that.
I found a newspaper once, 1953.
I have a newspaper in my car that I need to like seal up somehow without ruining more from like 48 or 46 or something. Sick. Yeah, because all that really old shit I bring to Priscilla because she loves all that like the antique stuff. Yeah. So like I rinse out the beer cans and stuff. Find a lot of cigarette butts and addicts and shit.
Find a lot of shit. It's funny because even in the new job, like one of the designer like GEC was walking around. And they like looked in the wall, like it's the house is almost done, but there was a few parts that weren't quite patched up yet. And I saw him lean over like this and roll his eyes and somebody dumped a fucking like a Snapple bottle or something like in the wall or so like so that it would be buried. And then it started this conversation. We're like, now I get it. Like now I understand. Yeah. People, it's just like put. Floop, and that's it. Yeah, like, oh, it'll be there for however long. It'll be there.
There have been times where I've been working with something, dropped it into a wall, and be like, well, that just lives there now.
That lives there now. Like, yeah. It's like a freaking like a P2 bit or like it's just something you just drop it. You're like,
I dropped a screwdriver into the wall one day, working one of my old jobs, and I was like, I really need that.
Yeah, that's not good.
And I had to like get something to reach down and get it with because I was like, I actually really need that screwdriver today. There was a house I worked on where like it was pretty much being like completely rebuilt, so no one was gonna be living there for a long time, and the contractor was just smoking inside. Like this guy had a fucking Marlboro 100 hanging from his mouth while using the table saw, amazing. And I was like in the living room, and I was like, "This is fucking
different
great."
Time.
I was smoking a cigarette at that job site too, and I was just like there are 3 different dudes smoking cigarettes right now in there that I can see. And I was like, I'm about to walk in and check on my boy who's doing the installation with a lit cigarette just because I get to smoke inside.
Why not?
Like it's wild. A nice dirty feeling getting to smoke a cigarette indoors. I love that feeling. Like my house in Delaware, like we used to get fucked up in the living room and like smoke cigarettes inside and then just throw them on. It was like the same type of floor as this. And we would just throw them on the floor and step on them.
See, it was a little different for us. At the frat house in Manhattan College, it was tile floor. So like
that's even better.
I know.
That's so much better. We had like fake wood.
No, we used to just to pass the joint or to pass the cigarette, we would just fucking throw it.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Hit the ground.
Dude, one of my friends my friends was doing that. They had a carpet.
Jeez.
Yeah, there were burn holes all over that bitch.
That's a little bit
reckless. Cuz I lived in the same frat that you're from.
Yeah.
DKE.
Yeah.
So they used to joke that I was like an honorary brother because I lived in one of the houses, was friends with everybody. But I remember one of my roommates, his girlfriend was like pretty much lived there, and I'd be smoking a cigarette like in the kitchen like while cooking, and she'd be like, "Stop smoking cigarettes inside." I was like, "I'm the only one here who works to pay rent to live here. Everyone else is in school and getting like their shit paid, like their rent paid for. I'm gonna do what I want." Like my name wasn't on the lease or anything. That landlord tried to hit us for like $7,000 in damages,
Really?
and I was like, he's breaking like zoning code. Like he's got 5 unrelated people living in a house.
Yep.
I looked into the zoning laws for this house. Only 3 unrelated people are allowed to live here. Just hit him with that, and that he's a
That's it.
slumlord,
He's
and
done.
we'll be good.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember our house at the end. We just lived out. You know, you pay the first 2 months security deposit, and then we lived out the last 2 months. Like we just didn't pay rent, and he was like, "You can't not pay rent." And we were like, "That's how it works, bro." And he was like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm gonna hit you with the charges for whatever." And we're like, "All right, that's fine. Like, let us know what damages there were." He never contacted us, and then 8 months later or 6 months later, I get a call from him. Check this. I get a call from him. He is asking me to call the city of New York to tell them that he's not a bad landlord, right? Because there was a point in time in January where the heat went out for like 12 days, and it was like 2 degrees, and he didn't come. He
Oh
like
my
lived in Florida.
God.
He didn't fix the heat. So I eventually I called whatever. I filed a complaint. And it ended up coming back to him 6 months after we moved out. And he asked, he's like, "Well, can I said, "Absolutely not. I was without heat for like 12, almost 4.
Yeah,
I was
dude.
almost 2 weeks of no heat in the
That's
middle of January.
ridiculous.
Why would I
Yeah,
would I
fuck
take?" He's like,
that.
he literally was like, "Please, can you just like help me out?" And I was like, "No." No. He called me again like a week or 2 later, and I literally laughed and just hung up. I was like, "No, like you're gonna be a slumlord. I'm not gonna help you out. Like you
Yeah,
be a
dude.
piece of garbage."
We had friends in the fraternity that also lived in another one of this guy's houses, and he hired this guy. So he hired me to do like small maintenance work. He would pay me 20 an hour to do things. So like I cleaned the gutters at our house. Like I did some work at.
That's cool.
I actually did some work at his own house. He had some water damage on the wall like behind his kitchen sink, so I was gonna need to unscrew the cabinets and replace some sheetrock. I start unscrewing the cabinets, the entire fixture falls on me, and I'm holding it up with my shoulders while like trying to keep it from crashing to the ground and killing me. And I call my roommates, and I'm like, "Yo, someone needs to get here right now. Like I'm gonna die. Like I am like barely able to hold this thing up right now." The entire fucking wall behind this shelving unit was rotted out.
Just freaking.
Full mold. Like there were like the sheetrock had pretty much completely turned into mold. It wasn't even sheetrock
Yeah,
anymore.
that's gross.
And I sent him a picture once I got it down because one of my roommates had to Uber to me because he didn't have a car. He had to Uber to me and help me. I was like holding this thing up for 20 minutes.
Really?
I was like shaking like
Yeah.
violently when he got there. I was like, "Help!" But so I get it down and I look and I'm just prodding around and it's all molded. Like the joists, like the studs and everything, the ceiling
You-
joists,
really?
everything had mold all
What-
over it.
So what did you do?
I told him, I was like, "Dude, I'm not like I don't.
Done.
This
Yeah,
is I can't do this. This is
beyond my
way beyond
scope.
me." We had black mold in the bathroom, so my room in the frat house connected to the bathroom. You could also get into that bathroom from the kitchen. So that was the bathroom everyone who stopped by our house used.
Yeah.
So like
Dirty.
it was gross. I was probably the only one who ever like actually like cleaned it, like unless like the pledges were cleaning it for a party. And
Cleaning it.
yeah, they just fucking throwing bleach at things. So we were getting ready to have our first party of the year. We'd never thrown a party at that house like with us living there. They had thrown parties there the year before, but so I go into the bathroom. I realize there's a little bit of black mold on the ceiling because like it was gross. And so I tied a shirt around my face, took bleach, and just wiped down the ceiling with bleach. I was like, I know this isn't the real solution, but this is the best we can do.
This is the best. you're
And
gonna
eventually I ended up just cutting out like that little piece of sheetrock and just replacing it. But we had, oh my God, I forgot about this part. The worst of all. I actually have 2 terrible things about this house to tell you. We, like me and like, you know, Edwin, so he was living there with me. So me and him and our friends from home went down for a weekend over that summer before we actually moved into for school and stuff. And we like get there and one of my roommates was like, "Bro, like you need to see the basement." I was like, "No, I've seen how bad the basement is. Like I lived here for a month before anyone else did. Like it's It's bad. I know it's bad. Like there's just like a random puddle that we don't know where it came from or where if it's like growing.
The puddle's just there.
There's just a puddle in the
stagnant
basement.
water.
That puddle stayed there the entire year.
That's disgusting.
We don't know where it came from.
That is, Dennis, can the plumber chime in for a second? The puddle in the basement that was there.
It was just always there.
Something was leaking.
We didn't see what the source of the water was the entire time.
But
it was
like-
probably soaking up through the ground.
But that's my point. Is like if it's there, is it just the same water there?
I don't
or is
know.
it flowing water there? Like what
But-
could that be?
So he was like, no, like the basement got worse. Like he's like, I don't know how to explain this to you, but you have to look at it. So I go downstairs and he's like, cover your face. And I was just like, what does that mean? So I like put like something like a cloth over my mouth and like held it there. I go down to the basement from the floor to the ceiling, every wall, every inch coated in mold.
Whoa.
There were mushrooms growing in the corner. I call the landlord.
dank.
I was just like, you need to get the fuck over to this house, dog. Like, this is not good. Like, how are we supposed to live in this?
That's bad.
He comes, he goes down to the base with me, takes pictures and looks at things, does not say a word the entire time. Just walks back up the stairs. I'm like, so like, what are we going to do about this? And he's like, I'll let you know. And just leaves. Only thing he said the entire time he was there was, I'll let you
Did
know.
it ever get taken care of?
Someone like the next day came and
Oh, that's a great.
yeah,
turnover.
the next morning someone came and like
Like,
crew and
assessed and
cleaned it
started
up.
to get going. Wow, that's
Well, it
nuts.
wasn't like mold people. This was just a cleaning crew. And I was like, that's still not the right way to
That's
do
not
this.
the right way to do
He was like, yeah, we bleached everything. And I was like, I don't think that's actually how that works.
It can work, but like
I mean, we didn't get it like that again in the basement. But he also brought us a dehumidifier. But then our dryer broke, so I put the dehumidifier in my room and hung my clothes up to dry.
that works.
Yeah. Our sink actually stopped working in the kitchen too because our garbage disposal broke and it got so clogged.
Oh shit.
And the sink and the dishwasher ran on the same drain, so we couldn't use either. And that one day
That's
during a party,
devastating in a frat house.
yeah, that's why we all stopped cooking and we couldn't. Oh my god, I ordered food one day for delivery, and something I ordered needed a spoon, and we had no way of cleaning anything because it was just the kitchen was so bad. So I got a spoon wet with hot water and then took a lighter to it to try to burn any germs off. One of my roommates comes out to the kitchen and I'm just fucking holding a spoon with a lighter to it, and he's like, "Yo, whoa!" And I was like, "No! I'm just trying to sanitize the spoon so I can eat some ice cream." Like I promise,
I'm using
I am
the spoon
not
for good intention.
like I am not doing heroin right now.
I got a quick spoon story. I'm hanging out with my cousin and we were gonna go smoke, and a cop strolls up on us, and I'm in the car rolling the joint. I drop all the weed on the floor, and it was like in an envelope, and basically,
How long ago was this?
this
For
is
the-
a couple years ago. I was
So it's like back when it was illegal.
yeah, definitely still illegal. And they're like, get out of the car. It smells like weed. I'm like, all right, whatever. They're gonna find it. They find the weed, and then they start like looking around my car. And that morning I had a yogurt with a spoon, and so they pull out the spoon and they start like fucking screaming at me, like screaming at me, like. Is this paraphernalia? What is this used for? I was like, my yogurt. Like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, I think I was like 20 or 21 at the time. I was bugging out, and oh man, it was the most terrifying accusation ever. I could see you like, no, it's for the ice cream. It's for the ice cream.
I was probably like really stoned too, so he's like, "Nah, it's ice cream."
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh, I've got so many cop interactions I could talk about, but I feel like I should save that
should
for.
be saved for a podcast.
Yeah, that should be a whole separate episode.
And we've been going for a while too.
Yeah, we have. Because we had like a few extra minutes of video before this started.
Yeah, totally.
We had like 5 minutes of video before we started actually
But
recording.
still, hell yeah.
So I feel like that kind of covers all the jobs.
Well, let me talk about my last job, which is here, right? Because I'm trying to be a musician. I'm not trying to be. I am a musician.
You
I'm
are.
I'm playing places.
Oh yeah, plug your dates.
Hell yeah, yeah. Well, I'm playing tomorrow. Not tomorrow.
Well, this is
yeah,
gonna come out.
It's gonna air tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
so-
I'm playing tomorrow, Saturday, at the 18th Ward, which is like my residence. I play there at least once a month, down in New Rochelle. They're the tap house off of the 18th Ward in Brooklyn, which is awesome. They got great beer. So come check that out. I'm playing the 19th, May 19th at the Hangout Cafe, Route 52 in Carmel, which is really cool for me because it's right down the street from my house. And I've only played once in my town before. So, because I like to go all over the place and try to find different places to play. And then my big one that I'm really excited for is I'm supporting J-Whale at Park City Music Hall on May 31st. It's a Wednesday, which kind of sucks, but
I'll be there.
I'm really excited. It's gonna be a heater. It's me, Grub, and J Whale. J Whale's featuring so many amazing musicians that I should probably know off of the top of my head or have on a list that I should have said. But yes, love it. Come check it out.
The one lady from the Trey band, right?
Natalie. And then I can't remember. I was actually just like looking at it earlier today.
I've read the thing like 5 times.
I know,
I should
too.
know by now.
I should know. I'm gonna be there and I'm playing. But yeah, so I'm just really freaking excited to have that opportunity to open. So thank you, J Whale, and thank you everybody. And it's gonna be sick.
I'm very excited.
Come out to Park City.
Are you gonna record your audio?
We haven't discussed that at all. Actually, we have the whole setup to my left. To my left over here is like we got a whole new setup for Park City so that we can independently control all my volumes and stuff. But we haven't discussed recording it formally, and I don't see why we can't somehow record it formally.
Because I could do the video.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I would love to do that.
Definitely.
Because I was gonna bring the gimbal and get some really good shots anyway. So
cool. Hell yeah. So yeah, I mean, definitely gonna be recorded. I don't know how, but I'm gonna make sure it happens.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for listening and watching, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, follow us.
And like you said, email, ring us, man. Like, let us know what you want us to talk about, and also share your stories because we'll share them too.
Yeah, just if you have any drug stories, cop stories, drug cop stories,
Wooks stories.
Yeah.
If you have any Wooks stories,
if you have any stories that just fully incriminate you as a dirty fucking lot goblin, then
we want to hear them.
Definitely send them in, and tell us about your worst working experiences. I'm gonna do another episode soon talking about like high school experiences because I've got some interesting things to talk about.
High school was fun.
I also kind of feel like calling out some pieces of shit that taught me in high school. I don't know. I think that would be fun too.
That would be fun too. I literally have like a list of names that just rolled into my head.
Oh yeah,
like teachers and stuff.
I got one really funny thing I'll tell you if you do that episode with me. I'll talk about
Hell
that.
Yeah.
I don't know who's gonna because Priscilla might do another episode with me too, so we might talk about that because this high school she went to seems like it was a very interesting place. Oh, I have a place I think you should try to play at too in Norwalk.
Okay.
I don't remember what it's called, but I drive past it every time I'm in there. So
all right,
I will find
Very
out what
game.
it is. But yeah, where can they find you online and stuff?
Ian Ferraro Music, everything. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I haven't streamed in a minute, but that's going to be happening very soon.
Hell yeah. And you know where to find us.
Yeah.
So.
Wild Wooks. Peace.